Check out Paddy Power's new and exclusive Cash Card Plus, available to use online, at ATMs, or even down the local. Paddy Power, you beauty.
Hi there, welcome along to the Racing Post Postcast for day one of the three-day Aintree meeting. We've got some fantastic stuff. Obviously, the highlight of the meeting is the Grand National on Saturday, but this is a fixture that has grown in status and quality gradually throughout the year, and we've got some real top-class animals running on the first 2 days as well as the big day on Saturday, and topping the bill will be Q Card on day one. But we're going to take these 7 races in alphabetical order. I'm Bruce Millington, and joining me in the studio is the Racing Post's Maddie Playle. We've also got over in Ireland the independent racing expert, Brendan Duke, and from Paddy Power. Paddy Power himself has got all the odds. Hopefully everyone's got some winners. We will kick off with the 145, the opener. It's the Manifesto Novices Chase. Paddy Power, how do you bet?
We have Top Notch's pretty short price favourite. Bruce 11 to 10, Cloudy Dreams 3 to 1, Frodon 5 to 1, Flying Angel 6 to 1, Max Award 20s, and 25 to 1 Cyrus Mouvier or Marivier. So yeah, Top Notch probably looks the one to beat after his Cheltenham run behind York Hill.
Okay, small fields for day one, Maddie. That's a bit disappointing, isn't it? But we've got some quality. It's quality over quantity, isn't it?
It is. I'm really annoyed that Road to Respect isn't running, because I thought he was an absolute cracking chance in this. Yeah, it's a really good race. I find some of them, they're quite closely matched, the likes of Frodon, Cloudy Dream. I really like Flying Angel. I think it might be worth giving him a bit of a chance. He had a bit of a mid-season break. A bit of a bigger price. His Warwick run has worked out really, really well. There's been a few winners from that. And he had absolutely no run in the JLT. You can just forgive him that. He got absolutely stopped in his tracks at the most crucial point. So I think he's probably the one of most interest. But it'll be interesting to watch to see if Top Notch can again cement his sort of position as the one with the best form.
Well, he's solid, isn't he? But
yeah.
I mean, we can get some funny turnarounds, can't we, Brennan, between Cheltenham and Aintree? How do you read this race?
Yeah, I'd agree with all of that. He is very solid. I mean, he's been on the go since September. I suppose that could be a little bit of a concern, but his form is just rock solid. He looks a hardy horse. I think he's just better than these. I mean, it was so frustrating for his backers in Cheltenham, because the only fence he missed was the second last, and he lost more ground at the second last than he was beaten. Now, I think York Hill was pulling up in front, so I'm not suggesting he was an unlucky loser, but he had jumped in his usual professional, economical manner. I imagine he'll do that tomorrow, and he should be too good for these.
And Brennan, you're not a fan of backing horses at under 2 to 1. Can you make an exception for Top Notch?
I won't make an exception for Top Notch. I just have the little nagging concern about the fact that he's been on the go since September. So I'll watch him win.
Will you? Paddy, what will you be doing? Well, we know what you'll be doing. You'll be swanning around in some corporate hospitality with a glass of champagne.
No, not tomorrow. No, not tomorrow.
Oh,
tomorrow
really?
Tomorrow I meet a couple of lads from Liverpool that I meet every year for a pint outside the Queen Mother stand. Then I do obviously do loads of work as well, but the bits I'm looking forward to is the couple of pints to various people. I mean, I'm like a little, I'm like an old man. I have my routine of I go to this bar and meet this bloke for a pint, and later on I go to that bar and meet the other bloke. So
that's your Thursday routine, is it?
That's my Thursday routine. It's very relaxed on Thursday. In fact, you could argue that, like, what the hell am I doing there on a Thursday? But it's very important, I think, to lay the foundation for the weekend. So, but yeah, no, I think just on Maddie's point there, Flying Angel was only a 3 lengths behind York Hill here last year over hurdles, so that's probably Top Notch.
He'd had a long season by that point as well, and at one point I thought he was really going to give him a race.
Yeah, but I just too think that York Hill is very, very good, and Top Notch gave him a proper fright at Cheltenham. So I think Top Notch is going to be the first leg of my treble.
Excellent. Maddie, you going up to Liverpool?
I'm not, no. No, I'm working.
Oh, that's it, all 3 days?
Yeah.
One day you'll be able to have one of those jobs like Paddy Power where,
swanning around, living the life.
Honestly, it's unbelievable.
It's all right for some, isn't it?
It really is.
It's important to be seen, at these big events.
Well, you certainly are seen. I don't think I've ever not seen you at any big race meeting. Brennan, what's your strategy? Are you going to venture across to Merseyside?
No. I have a couple of Leopardstown meetings coming up this week, so I've enough to be going on with there. My next trip across is for the Dante meeting.
The Dante?
I've never been to York. I hear good things.
Yeah, we won't get too far off topic here, but I like York, but I've never quite got the appeal. Have you been, Maddie?
I've been once, and apparently I ended up somehow in the wrong enclosure, so I didn't really end up getting anywhere.
Right.
Don't know how that happened. I liked it, but I think I need to properly. I think I'm due to go this year with some friends, and I need to have the proper York experience. Apparently,
You a big
Done it
fan,
all
Paddy?
wrong.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of York.
Oh, yeah.
York for me is like, much as I love Ascot, it's like a more relaxed Ascot. You still got great quality racing. People are totally sound. I mean, the drinks are not half as much of a rip-off as you get at some of the southern tracks.
That's true. Very cheap bottle of house champagne. No, it's a mighty fine racecourse. I never quite got the sort of magic of the place. Okay, the 2:20 at Liverpool. Let's get back to previewing day one. And this is probably going to be a procession for Deffy, isn't it, Maddie?
Yeah, again, it's a similar race to the first in that Top Notch looks to have the best form. Deffy Desoy should be winning it really, really easily. Again, I like to take a bit of a different angle on these things sometimes. So maybe looking at the Queen's horse, Fourth Bridge, who missed Cheltenham. I'm not sure if that was for any reason in particular. At a big price, I think he's about 16 to 1. Yeah, he beat some good horses. He beat Project Blue Book, at Musselburgh. And he ran a really nice race at the festival. And
we've got each way here, haven't we? Can do some Schneider each way, can't we?
Exactly. That's my angle. I mean, Divin Bear's probably going to finish second, but I think Fourth Bridge maybe for third. It's worth taking that chance on him. You know, the others have had quite longer seasons. They're all again probably quite closely matched. So just a different angle, really.
Okay, excellent stuff. And really, I suppose Divin Bear is the dirtiest of dirty each way, isn't it, Brennan Duke?
Yes, he is. It wouldn't be for me because I can't conceive how he can win. Although he did travel like much the best horse in the Fred Winter, so he has a lot of ability. But Deffy's second fab for the champion hurdle. He proved me radically wrong in Cheltenham.
He was really, really good, wasn't he? It was absolutely superb. That Rolls Royce.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's a lot of competition, but if someone said to you that was the performance of the meeting, you couldn't disagree with them.
No, I don't think so. I don't. Just how short is the Deff?
2 to 7. So you hope you're getting rich back in him, although it could be picking up. But this, without having done any stats on it, in my head, this is a race that can be dangerous back in short price favourites, can't it? But and just the fact that he's had quite a long season, there's 6 1s beside his name. So, but it's very hard to see it and turn around. Like if Divin Bear can't win the Fred Winter of what was meant to be a good handicap mark, now he should beat Flying Tiger because there's a £5 swing for a neck. But if he can't win the Fred Winter, and Deffy just all absolutely laps them in the Triumph, it's very hard to see him.
Rattle off the prices then, Paddy, so that if people can have a little bit of each way action.
2 to 7, Deffy Desoy, 9 to 2, Divin Bear, Flying Tiger 10 to 1, Fourth Bridge 16s, 66 Bedrock, 50 Landon, should have that in there. Nucky Thompson 100 to 1, and Ronnie Baird 100 to 1 as well.
Brendan, is there any each way potential here?
Well, not for me because I don't think anything can beat the favourite. So, but on the maths, everything's a good bet each way.
Okay. So look at if the 4 big price ones can't win, so you're getting rid of Bedrock, Landon, Nucky Thompson, Ronnie Baird, like Fourth Bridge just has Flying Tiger to beat to get in the places. Do you know what I mean? So
that was my sort of view on it.
Oh, it's a very sensible strategy. It's just not for me. You have to be a hardcore bad each way merchant to be.
Yeah, Brendan never was one for sense.
And the reason you don't like that, so in a proper good dirty each way bet has to actually have a chance of winning. Is that what you're saying, Brendan?
For me, yes, I need to think the horse can win.
Okay, well, Fourth Bridge, you're getting 16 to 5 the place. You'll be having a little bit on that, Maddie, will you?
Probably, why not?
Excellent. Let's have a quick chat about Deffy Desoy in terms of next season, because there's noises coming out that he might step up to steeplechasing. Would that be a good move or a bad move, do you think, Maddie?
I said this on the last postcast, and I love the horse. He's a great little horse, but after seeing him in the flesh a few times, there is nothing to him. And being one of these sort of precocious juveniles that don't always go on and progress, the funny thing is he jumps like a chaser, even though he's tiny. But in terms of moving forward and physically, I don't think he has that much scope. So much as the ability is there.
So you'd give him another season over hurdles, would you?
Well, I don't know, because like I say, he jumps like a chaser. But equally, it would be exciting to see how he would match up in something like the champion hurdle. I'm not fussed either way, to be honest. I would just probably be a little bit cautious in terms of physically
He's not big, no? Is that what you're saying?
No, he's not big at all.
Is he skinny or short? Because obviously Top Notch is the most famous short horse in training.
Yeah, he's not very tall. He's perfectly well built and everything. But in mind with these juveniles, people crab the Triumph Hurdle a lot. That the winners don't tend to go on to achieve much. And I always tend to look at the horses in behind that I think, in a few years he'll be up to something better. So, no, he's a wonderful horse. I mean, he absolutely marmalised him in the Triumph, but it is a little bit of a concern for me. Might make absolutely no difference at all, but there we are.
Postcast debut for the word marmalise. I love that one. Brennan, what would you do were he yours? A season over hurdles, or would you go chasing?
No, he'd never run over fences if we mind. I'm not even sure he is. But to my eye, if he is that well built, he's narrow in front, he's quite a light frame. The only thing I can think of is that they must have schooled him over fences. That the fact that they're even talking about this, he's second favourite for the champion hurdle. Why are they considering it? So the only thing the fact that you've heard some whispers, Bruce, maybe he's been brilliant in his schooling over fences. That's all I can think.
I think he does jump. The shape he makes over a hurdle can look quite like he would make a chaser, but I agree. I think.
Paddy, can you join me in feeling hopelessly inadequate as these two go on about the physiology of horses?
I'm just hoping
they all look the same to me. Except the ones with grey fur.
I'm just hoping that somebody randomly just said it just at the side of their mouth. The thing, sure, you never know, he might even go chasing, and then suddenly it becomes a big thing.
Yeah.
No, Philip Hobbs, I swear, after the Triumph, Philip Hobbs, he made quite a big deal of it.
He looks a bit brown to me.
Well, exactly. That's as much as I can give you. Thank you, Paddy. You're with me. OK, we'll have a quick break, and then we'll look at Q Card. Can he come back?
Check out this fantastic horse racing offer from Paddy Power. For the first 5 races at Aintree today and tomorrow, it's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second. Max £20 per race. T&C supply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Okie dokie then, the big race on day one of the Aintree Festival is at 250. It's the Betway Bowl. It's a Grade 1, and Q Card is looking to win it yet again. It's going to be favourite, Paddy. Just how short is he?
Yeah, he's 11 to 8 with us, which is pretty tight, to be honest. Empire Dirt has been money around for today. It's into 5 to 2. So 11 to 8 Q Card, 5 to 2 Empire Dirt. Bristol Demai 5 to 1. Silvianico Conti has been talked up and back in the last couple of days into 8 to 1. T for 2, 12 to 1. ASO 20 to 1. Sorry, you should have Smad Place in there 14 to 1. And sadly, the last on the card is a 7th runner, is ASO. So there's only 7 in the race, which is a real shame.
It is a real shame. Maddie, what do you make of this one?
In terms of Q Card, I think you look at the Gold Cup this year, and there was not a cat in hell's chance he was going to win, which is sad but understandable. Empire of Dirt caused me an awful lot of pain in that Ryanair because he was my Racing Post nap of the festival, and he just made me want to cry. He was given quite a funny ride in that he was just totally dropped out for a horse that seemingly stays this trip.
It was a poor run, wasn't it? There's no other way of dressing it up. That was a disappointment.
He stayed on really well, but I always thought he should have been in the Gold Cup anyway.
Are you going to keep the faith?
And I've got to. His form in the Irish Gold Cup behind Sizing John's probably the best form that they have to offer here. Q Card, I think. Yeah, I worry that age might be catching up with him now. And although he fell in the Gold Cup last year and then came on to win this, I just worry if he's quite good enough. If Empire of Dirt, he'll love the fast ground. He's got the best piece of form to his name, and at the prices, I'd be backing him to win. But he's probably gonna make me cry again if he doesn't win.
Oh, do you know Maddie was only 8 when Q Card was born? Isn't that mad? Brendan, who was a little bit older when Q Card was born. What do you think of this race?
Yes, I'm inclined to agree with Maddie. I too shed a tear after Empire of Dirt's run in the Ryanair. I don't know. It was odd that he dropped him, that he jumped him off last, given the horse has plenty of stamina. I'd like to see him get a more positive ride, but I think the main problem. Yeah, the main problem, though, was that he hit one of the first 2 fences and he never jumped or travelled afterwards, did he, Maddie? He just didn't seem to be able to go.
He's a bit sort of sticky, wasn't he?
Yeah, and having jumped incredibly well. I mean, he jumped better than anything. That Sizing John is a serious leper, and he jumped at least as well as him in the Irish Gold Cup, and you could make a case afterwards that he was a little unlucky not to beat him. So I'm just hoping that the Ryanair was a bad day at the office for the old EOD, and I'll chance him again tomorrow.
OK, 2 votes for Empire of Dirt. I'm certainly not voting for him. I don't fancy him at all, but then I'm not sure I do fancy. Talk me into something, Paddy.
So I agree with what Maddie said on almost everything she said there, except her selection. But a Q card is obviously, it's clearly like last year when Q card fell in the Gold Cup. There's a question about he might have won it. This year, she's right. I mean, absolutely, a very unpopular thing to say, but absolutely was beaten at the time.
We all know that. There's
so,
no
yeah,
doubting that.
Yeah, so not as good. In fact, the form this year, you can crib all of it, really. The King George behind Thistlecrack is the exact same as Silviana Conti. So on that run, you'd say Silviana Conti's great value at whatever price, at 8-1. But I'm going to go for some bizarre reason. I think Bristol Demai might deserve another chance. I think Empire Dirt was too bad to be true in the Ryanair. I totally agree with everything that the guy said. I didn't back it in Cheltenham, but I was delighted the way the race panned out because he was a big danger. But Bristol Demai, I think, just maybe a little bit of a forgotten horse. About 5-1, might even be a bit weaker on the days. There's a lot of money around for Empire Dirt. I was looking across the board, and odds checker, it's blue. So maybe Bristol Demai to bounce back. But kind of Q card is, you kind of have to have him favourite, but he's going to be an uneasy favourite, I think.
There was a lot of love for Bristol Demai in the weekend review postcast. Tom Siegel and Nick Watts liked him. Do you know what? I'm looking down the bottom here. You made the case for Silvini-Arco, given his proximity to Q card in the King George, but doesn't that bring T for 2 into it as well? Because, I mean, they all finished in each other's lap.
Right. It's got to go right.
Okay, fair enough. We won't go for him then. Do you know what? I'm going to go for Asso. I'm going to go for Asso.
I can understand that, do you know?
I think it's big price.
This trip, when he ran at Kempton, I think I backed him that day, and he really, really stayed on quite eye-catchingly. You know, he's one of these that he'll throw in the horrible jump at the wrong time. But I wouldn't say why not. He ran a massive race in the Ryanair.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
Yeah, okay, Asso for me. Righty-ho, the 325 is the Betway Aintree Hurdle. Blimey, we've got some good racing tomorrow, haven't we? And Bouverdere is the star of the show here. Again, very short, Paddy Power.
Very short, but justifiably so. I think the race is kind of falling apart a little bit. 4-11, the new one's 13-2, Identity 8-1, 10-1, my 10 to yours. 25 Rashan and 40-1 Old Guard. And to be honest with you, the new one is probably the only horse that could beat Bouverdere, because you think Identity Thief, this is probably a toe dipping back in the water kind of thing, just to see does he have his head screwed on again. Bouverdere, yeah, 4-11, but for me he's nailed on.
Do you know? Sorry. Do you know? I'm not saying he can win, but I'm really surprised at the price of my 10 to yours. I've never really been a fan of the horse because you just can't trust him. But if they ride him like they rode him in the Champion Hurdle, literally just bury him, hold him up, and just deliver him right at the last second, I'm surprised he's as big as he is in some places.
Yeah, it could be the forecast answer, couldn't it? In actual fact, in a 6-runner heat, which this is, a quarter to the twos can sometimes work in your favour. You know, it's not impossible, is it? He did run a really good race, didn't he?
I think it's a bit backward, and he came second to Annie Power in this race last year, beating Nichols Canyon and some other horses. Identity Thief, I really liked him for the Arkle at the start of the year, but that's all gone to pot.
Yeah, it all went really bad, didn't it?
The new one, yeah, he's pretty solid at this level, but I just think in terms of form and prices, my 10 to yours, I think he should probably be a shade shorter.
So does that mean your betting strategy here might be a little each way on the 10, or a forecast possibly him to finish second to Bouverdere, or will you just watch?
I think I'll just watch, but that's one of the things that stood out to me when I looked at the market. Yeah. Okay.
Now, Paddy, I guess the 4 races we've talked about so far, we've got 4 fairly short price favourites, haven't we? Have we got one of these kind of news attention grabbing acres on the horizon here?
You kind of do, but if there were evens, it's much more dangerous than 4-11, 2 to. Do you know that kind of way? I mean, it's like that day at Ascot when it all went under the radar, but we were all nearly closed down when Ryan Moore nearly won the Ascot Gold Cup. Do you remember? He'd had 4 or 5 winners, but they're all winning favourites at 4-1, 9-2, 6-1, 5. You're looking away, and then it was really nasty. So you're talking about 2-7, 4-11, very, very short prices. So yeah, it'd be a bad day at the office, but it's not going to do too much damage, those odds, I think. When you see the press release coming out, you'll be saying, "Oh my God,
exactly.
it's the worst day ever."
Yeah, quite. Yeah, I'll be reminding you of that one when you're on the front page of the Star, going on about what a massive how much you've lost. What's your view on the race, Paddy? And then we'll get Brennan's verdict.
I think Bouverdere is probably a good thing, and I will certainly listen to Maddie on my 10 to yours, maybe, because I'm not a fan of the new one, kind of never was. So Identity Thief couldn't have, just because, for obvious reasons, and the other 2 probably don't have a chance. Yeah, so my 10 to yours would be second, maybe a forecast. But Bouverdere is the third one of my treble.
Okay, well, if any punter is doing the 4-fold on Top Notch, Defi de Soy, Q Card, and Bouvardere. A £10 fourfold returns £87.44 with Paddy Power. Does that tempt you, Brendan?
I think Q card is vulnerable, and I'm not really a multiples man. So it's
Are you not? You
well,
go
no.
through your life without placing multiple bets.
Yeah,
That's all
well,
I do.
they're fundamentally flawed, aren't they? You don't fancy the second one twice as much as you fancy the first one.
Yeah, but
But you're not brave enough to have
I just
on
like
all your winnings.
I
from the
like the
first one,
idea
that's
of
the
winning
point.
loads of money on one bet. That's all.
Oh, I
I'm
do
saying.
too. Yeah, no, that sounds quite good actually. Yeah. No, perhaps I've been walking around.
But Brendan's point is valid. Like, the reason why multiples were invented, kind of, was because, remember, you used to pay tax when you put your bet on.
Yeah.
So it meant you didn't have to pay tax on each bet. So you just do your one bet across the four.
Sure.
And in theory, like, you could put your tenner on the first one, collect your 20, put the whole 20 on, collect your 50, put your whole 50 on. But it's actually.
Is he speaking a different language?
They're just
you lost me.
They're just
half
being
an hour ago.
sensible. They're being sickeningly sensible, Maddie. I mean, it is wise betting advice, but I mean, I always chase a big win, so I will never
I would
be
do
talked
a
off
multiple every
multiples.
single day. It's
Jolly good.
It's very unsensible. But
Right,
anyway.
okay, so Brendan, how will the 325, the Betway Aintree Hurdle, be run?
How will it be run? Well, I imagine the new one will pop out in front. Bouvard won't sit too far behind him. Identity Thief should be relatively handy. And the tent will be, well, I was going to say tanking in behind, but interestingly, this season, in his dotage, perhaps he's got sense, he's been settling beautifully. So he wobbled home a little bit last year behind Annie Power. He looked like he ran out of gas, and that's the only reason I can think that he's the price he is. I do hope Maddie is correct on this, right? This betting, in terms of betting without, looks all wrong to me. How Identity Thief,
I agree.
who's completely lost his bottle over fences now. De Bromhead is a master. He does this loose schooling. He's a master at getting horses to jump, but it'd be some effort if he gets this horse's confidence back over hurdles.
Quick.
And I don't see how the tent isn't a shorter price than him. And I could arguably make the case that he should maybe even be joint second fav. I understand that Twisty's horse, the trip, will help him a lot, but my 10 to yours looks a knock and bet without to me, because it's a match bet as far as I can see.
Okay, jolly good.
I totally agree. I was just going to say, Aidan Coleman on my 10 to yours in the Champion Hurdle, absolutely fantastic losing ride. Brilliant. He just buried the horse, let him coast along on the bridle for as long as he could, because they know he finds nothing off it, and delivered him perfectly. And if he does that, then yeah, he should. I hope he'll be second. But I just think the market's wrong.
They can use some team tactics, can't they? Obviously, because they're in the same ownership as the Jolly. Okay, it gets a little bit tougher from here.
Check out this fantastic horse racing offer from Paddy Power. For the first 5 races at Aintree today and tomorrow, it's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second. Max £20 per race. TNC Supply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Okay, so we've got 27 runners in our first 4 races. In the 5th race, the Randox Health Fox Hunters, there's 29. So it gets a lot tougher. And before the team tell us who they think is going to win, Paddy, give us the latest Paddy Power betting on the Fox Hunters.
Okay, so On the Fringe is favourite 15 to 8, Pasha de Polder 7 to 2, Ballinasloe 10 to 1, Rebel Rebellion 14s, 16 each, Pool Master, Bears Affair, Mr. Mercurial, and This Time, and 20 and bigger the rest.
Okay, my instinct, without having studied this all night, is that On the Fringe is a little bit skinny. What do you think, Maddie?
I agree. I'm inclined, as always, which is probably not a good thing, to just look at something at a bigger price. On the Fringe, he's not as good this season as he was last season. Still a good run in the Fox Hunters. Pasha de Polder, my instinct is I don't know how he really managed to win the Fox Hunters at Cheltenham, because I've always thought he's not quite his best when in sort of these races where you really have to stay. I feel he can be a bit weak in the finish sometimes. So he obviously did brilliantly to win that, but I would be wanting to oppose him again just on the fact Aintree, so demanding jumping-wise and stamina-wise, that could take it out of him. So, yeah, I'd be wanting to find something at an absolutely huge price. The one I did look at was Pool Master, who won, was it the Grand Sefton over these fences a few years ago? And he beat Montparain last time out, who is a pretty useful horse in his own right. It's very, very difficult, because I feel once you take the top 2 out who have that bit of back class, they're all very similar rated, and it's just luck, isn't it? Black Thunder's interesting as well, with Sam Whaley-Cohen on, but he didn't jump round too well in the National last year, so perhaps not.
Okie doke, excellent stuff. Now, halfway through Maddie's assessment of the race, Brennan, you made a sort of semi-orgasmic sound.
I heard
I
that
wasn't
as well.
quite
I
sure what
noticed
that
that, yeah.
was. Can you fill us in?
I just wouldn't be as sure as Matty that he's not as good as last year. His comeback suggested that he was every bit as good, and I think he suffered from a rare as hen's teeth, badly judged Jamie Codd ride at Cheltenham. They didn't go nearly as strong a pace this year as they did last year, and he was too far out of his ground. I thought he was probably the best horse in the race. And interestingly, they always ride him very differently in this race. So they usually sit well out the back at Cheltenham, bring him through and hope the pace collapses, which it normally does. But here, I suppose, because they don't want to get brought down or what have you, they always have him up in the van. And I think it suits him better, this race, because he's such a brilliant jumper. And if he's up in the van, he can really use that weapon. And I'd expect him to win this.
Really? Will you be lumping on?
I will.
You will?
Yeah, well, there'll surely be a bit of 2-1 about Bruce.
Okie dokes. Paddy, what do you make of this one?
Yeah, I started off by thinking that On the Fringe is finished because, Pash de Polder is going to be the new hunter chaser of choice because, like this year, won at Cheltenham obviously very well. Last year, if you remember all the pressure around Victoria Pendleton and all that, it was kind of really important. They just got around safe, and this year was more just like go and win the race. And I thought. But then I think back to On the Fringe's prep run at Leopardstown, which was much better this year than before. And like Brendan says, well, On the Fringe is actually always better at Aintree than he is at Cheltenham. And obviously with Jamie God in the saddle, it's got to be a help. And then the two big prices that obviously I don't have a rashes about, but Frank Hickey told me to keep an eye on was Mr. Mercurial, because jockey bookings with Biddick on board is interesting. And the other one I really liked, actually, well, I didn't like, he liked, was This Time with Katie Walsh on board, because it was fourth in the Topham last year and third the year before in the Grand Seven. It's obviously great course form, and with Katie Walsh on board would have a chance at a big price, about 16-1.
No offence to your judgment, Paddy, which I respect greatly, but if you ever do get tips that you've given to us, and they are from Francis Hickey, do please let us know. Now then, Brennan, you're talking about 2-1. You are not going to be getting 2-1 this if the first four jollies all win. Is he, Paddy? On the Fringe, he's suddenly going to get smashed up like the horse in the Lincoln did.
I think he will, because as I was saying earlier, it'll be the worst day ever. It's no, I agree with you. It'll be like that. Could go off very, very short. But you'll see. But I mean, I think On the Fringe could end up backed in the morning as well. If the vibes are strong and everything's good about him. I mean, it's the one horse in the National or not in the National, in the Fox Hunters that the punters might just get behind. I think, because I mean, Pash de Polder in the show will be well backed, but most punters probably won't have their eye on this race beforehand, except some of the shrewdy Irish lads.
Okie doke. Right, we'll move on to the penultimate contest. Takes place at 4:40. It's the Betway Red Rum Handicap Chase. 15 runners. What are they doing to us? This is absolutely scandalous. 2 mile handicap chase. They'll be going lickety split, and it's 5-1 the field, Paddy Power.
It is indeed, yeah. The Inval is 5-1. Dandridge is 6-1. 7-1 each of Astra de la Cour and Alicia d'Irlande. And it's 9-1 double W's. 10-1 rather Foxtail Hill and Gino Trail. 12-1 Bundoran and Romain de Senam, and 16-1 Bar.
And let's stick with you, Paddy, to pass on the horse that Frank Hickey told you to tip.
Double W's. That's the one, because he always tips that, doesn't he? So he just said like best form at a flatter track, and then the drop back to 2 miles after his run at Cheltenham will help him, because he led to the second last thing, was behind Tully East in that race the first day. And then Astra de la Cour kind of just been campaigned towards this race as well all year, but probably was kind of hoping for a bigger price. But I think double W's are about 9-1, could be each way one. Tom Siegel was spraying that very horse up as well on the Monday postcast. Who do you like, Mads?
I find it really, really tricky. The one which I did look at was Parsnip Pete, who absolutely loves Aintree. And I always think if you've got a horse that loves this time of year and loves the track, he won this race, I think, a couple of years ago. So, yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on him. Tom George as well, he seems to do particularly well at Aintree. He's had a fantastic season. So at a bigger price, he could be one I'm interested in.
3 years ago, he won it.
3 years ago, there we go. Dandridge, I think, will run really well. But yeah, it's really quite difficult for me.
You're going to go for the Parsnip, are you?
Yeah, why not? Give it a go.
Okie doke, Brendan.
Oh, well, I like the wise old owl Paddy Power strategy on this of having 2 win bets, because each way is obviously a disaster first. So can I have 2 win bets as well?
Of course you can, mate.
Excellent. I will go for Foxtail Hill. I don't know what happened at Cheltenham. He having put in an impeccable round of jumping the previous time. It was an error-strewn round before he came down at the one past the stands. Perhaps the boy Bargery back in the saddle might get a better tune out of him. I'd take a chance anyway. He can jump, he just couldn't the last day. And the double W's, very eye-catching, travelled as well as anything at Cheltenham. Looks like they dropped the 2 miles to suit him, so I'll back those 2 horses to win.
Jolly good. Well, we've got a lot of love for double W's. Okay, the card concludes with an 18-runner bumper. And again, the Paddy Power odds compilers have been up early and they've priced them all up. So who's fab for this one, Pad?
So the bumper, it's open enough. I'm just waiting for the page to download. So I can just talk general inanities or something like that as it starts to download. And of course, here it is now. Petticoat Tails is the favourite at 11-4, as I was saying. Sweet Little Mystery second best at 5-1. Irish Row is 6s. Polly's Pursuit 8s. 10-1 each of Sassy Diva, Shearling, Martello Park, and it's 14-1 bar.
Okie doke. Pad, what have you heard?
What I've heard is that Shearling was pretty well backed on his debut at Warwick, so a lot of confidence went into him that day. And the next time, he won easy last time at Catterick, so he'd have a decent chance at a big price each way. And an Irish Row is the horse that brought Sir Francis's bet up, the big bet that he had, and it was 12-1.
What, the 100 grand?
Yeah.
Was it really? It was Irish Row that did it?
Yeah, so this is like literally the only horse he was looking at in the race. But he was talking about it was a duck egg at Cheltenham, but it was only 12-1 for the Cheltenham bumper. And just I think the hustle, the bustle might have done for him. So if you forgive him that run, even at 6-1, might be worth a look.
Frank's only passed that one out of sheer loyalty, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Who could blame him?
Well, quite. Yeah. When was that then? So when was the momentous day?
It was a meeting in Hexham. You know, in Hexham they have these meetings, and is it around like late August, early September, that kind of time?
Yeah.
It was around then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, hang on, 27th of September. No, hang on.
And was it a legendary day in Paddy Power Towers when young Frank caught the 6-figure win? It must have been pretty amazing.
I think he brought us all out, didn't he?
He wasn't in that day, or maybe I wasn't in. I always missed the good stuff.
I tell you, I was in Perth, wasn't it? In the 20th of August, 2016. Would that
I was in Perth. Oh, I thought it was in
So
Hexham.
13-2, beat Western Mare by 6 lengths. Didn't he have to sweat? 6 lengths winner.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. In case you're wondering what we're on about, Maddie, Frank the Tank does the Paddy Power postcast for us at the weekends, and he won 100 grand for it, but he didn't lay out more than about 100 euros, did he?
Yeah,
anyway,
it
paid for one of the most lavish weddings Ireland's ever seen, apparently.
It was like the J. McManus one, but just didn't get the press coverage.
Excellent stuff. Righto, Maddie, what have you got for us in the bumper?
Right, let me get this right. Polly's Pursuit is a half-sister, I believe, to Polly Peacham, Nicky Henderson's good mare. And believe it or not, her dam was a sister to Denman.
Wow.
So there's an interesting little factoid for you. Yeah, I really like the horse that finished second to Capsule at Sandown, which is Petticoat Tails. I think she's the obvious angle. Warren Greytrex does fantastically with these bump horses. And she looked like she sort of should have won. I thought Paddy Brennan gave Capsule a brilliant ride that day because he was sort of very calm on her in the finish and delivered her at the right time. But Petticoat Tails ran a really eye-catching race. But Polly's Pursuit, from a pedigree perspective and just from something different, is a bit of a bigger price. If she can improve, and I think that's probably what she's likely to do. As time goes on, I'm sure she's likely to get better. So she could be the one for me.
Polly's Pursuit from a pedigree perspective. Excellent. A new tongue twister. Right, Brennan, who do you like in the bumper?
Well, it's a mare's bumper, so I've got limited insight. I did, interestingly, this Petticoat Tails, I was told to back this the last day, and I was told to back it in running. And I did. I backed it at did twice the price it SP'd at, so I think I backed it at 7-1 in the run.
What, roughly halfway through the race?
Turning for home, she hits flat spots, apparently. The guy who put me into it said she's basically a 3-miler hurdler in the long run. So whether she'll be quick enough for this, she'll definitely trade a bigger price in the run, but the long straight in Aintree will help her. And 18 runners, she'll need a decent gallop, but you would think you'd have a chance with 18 runners, wouldn't you?
You'd look at this race last year, and it was run at an absolute mad gallop, and there was so many good mares in it. And if you think, they'd be quite heightened sort of by the atmosphere and all the rest of it, I can see some of them going off quite quickly.
Well, it sounds like you've watched more than one mare's bumper in the last year, Maddie, so I'll bow to your greater wisdom.
I think they're great. I love the mare series.
Okay.
There's a slight difference of opinion on the quality of mare's bumpers between Brendan and Maddie, I think. Okay. Right, so you're not going to have a bet. Oh, are you going to put up an in-running bet on Petticoat Tails?
Maybe I'll go in again. Yeah, I'll put in twice the SP in running and hope it gets match turn.
You've got to leave a chip on the table when something like that happens to you, haven't you?
Yeah,
Right, let's get the day one naps then.
This will not be beaten.
Maddie, away you go.
I have no idea. It would have been Road to Respect if he was in the first.
You've got no idea.
And I'm
You've been
really
so
annoyed he's
definite
not.
right throughout this broadcast.
Do you know what?
And now you're stumped.
I'll take a chance on Flying Angel.
Flying Angel in the first, yeah? Okie doke. Brendan Duke.
On the fringe in the Fox Hunters. Oh, I haven't got the time, Bruce. Sorry.
That's all right. 4:05.
Okay.
And Paddy?
It's a real bookies nap. I'm going for a treble.
Go on then.
Top notch, Boover Dare and Deafy de Sol. It works out just under 11 to 4 for the treble.
11 to 4.
So boring.
I know. But it's still 3
What's
winners.
boring
Like,
about
three
an,
winners
what's
in there.
boring about an 11 to 4 winner? No, I like
6
that.
to 1 winner's better.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we should. Well, the double W's as well in a quadruple. Then what about that in a fourfold?
I know, really. Excellent.
about
No,
400
I like that job. That looks pretty rock solid to me. Okay, great. Thank you very much indeed, gang. That was excellent. We are back tomorrow looking ahead to Friday's card, and we're also going to be out very early with the Grand National Postcast. That's going to be out tomorrow as well. We've got a Masters Postcast out if you like your golf, and there's the regular Thursday football as well. So tons happening on the Postcasts. Do go on and subscribe on iTunes and rate us. Thanks you very much for listening.
Paddy Power stream all UK and Irish racing live on your mobile, tablet or PC. Unlike some other high street bookies, Paddy Power, you beauty!